What is up, everybody? This is Devin Roberts back again with Young Controversy at you to bring you my opinions on different political topics and interesting things in the news. And today, guys, I'm bringing you my thoughts on the Me Too movement. It's a revolution. Okay, I don't like talking about this topic because I have a slight bias toward the situation, and I don't have a solid view on it. That's the first open thing I want to say. I'm open to interpretation, and I'm open to convincing because I've seen both sides of this coin so many times. Guys, I want to open with the fact that I'm a 22-year-old student who has been to college and who has been around the party culture for a long enough time to let you know from a conservative 22-year-old, if you do not think rape culture is real, you are absolutely insane. I have been to an unreasonable amount of college-age parties where there are sections of the house that are meant for very little more than to drag girls off and have sex with them, usually when they're significantly too drunk. You can argue the girls wanted it, but I usually don't ask because they're too drunk. I don't believe in relationships like that. That's not how I've looked at girls in the past, and I don't justify it for anyone my age or anyone who does it in any facet in any way. I think past about what you're allowed to drive on alcohol, you should be very careful with who you have sex with, outside of committed relationships and partners and things of that nature that are a little more obvious. But maybe people that feel differently. I'm going to use two examples to kind of dive into this a little more and discuss how I feel on it. The Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court case and the Bill Cosby wonderful enlockment that we've had recently, just to use some kind of cultural relevancy and things that we've been talking about in the news. So I'm going to title this My Thoughts on Brett Kavanaugh and Bill Cosby, and you will pretty much get the idea. We're going to start with Bill Cosby and why I am so glad that that monster is in jail. Bill Cosby is a utterly and obvious rapist. Without a doubt, he's used his power in Hollywood and power in the media to influence young, impressionable people into compromising situations and then taken incredible advantage of them, usually with drugs. I think everything he's done is monstrous, and I think he deserves to spend the rest of his life in jail, if not put to death for what he did. At the end of the day, we can't be giving specific privileges to celebrities just because people care about them or knew them as kids or had some kind of connection to them. When you commit a crime this heinous, you deserve the most heinous form of punishment, and it bothers me to no degree that there is anyone out there who defends his character due to them being fans of his old show or knowing him and having prejudice due to the fact that he's a celebrity. It is monstrous, and I have an unbelievable problem with everything he's done. I would not support him in any way, shape, or form, and I would not support anyone who supports someone like him. That's not really the important one, though, and I don't want to make people upset with my opinion, but the Kavanaugh case was a completely different situation. Although I do believe Christine Blasey Ford, his number one and main accuser in the case, I'm only going to talk on her accusations since they're the ones that really mattered for the most part. She seems to have a true, vivid memory of something that happened. I don't believe it was Judge Kavanaugh. And even if I did, there is no proof of any kind through any witnesses or FBI investigation that has produced a shred of evidence proving that he did it, outside of the fact that him and his friends were obviously douchebags in high school. That is pretty much all it is. He said that they drank, that they liked to do parties, and they basically talked about fingering and fucking girls in their yearbook. Those were the things that they got upset about. They went through his high school senior yearbook so long, guys, just because his and his friends shit around so much. Like, exactly like me and any of my friends from high school did. And they essentially put this characterization of him of, oh, you were a rich white frat boy going to parties with girls who were saying you got them drunk or you did things to them while they were drunk. Really? You didn't do it? And as someone who, as I said earlier, has been around that culture and seen what it looks like, that characterization exists. Like, that stereotype is 100% true. Oh my God, there are so many of them. But to claim that Brett Kavanaugh or anyone has done that without true proof is monstrous. It destroys his reputation, it destroys his family, it destroys the people closest to him and their connections with him. False accusations, inaccurate accusations, mismemories that cause distress in people's lives are almost brushed over on the male half of things in defense of the victim, in defense of girls who have actually been assaulted and who aren't making up stories. But the issue is victimization shouldn't be taken in degrees. Although I'm not saying that being accused of rape is an equivalency to rape in any facet, and the emotional tolls are different. But to claim that just because rape, specifically date rape and party rape, is so prevalent in our society that we should be believing victims initially is one of the most dangerous thought processes that has ever come into Americans' minds. I cannot believe we have gone this deep in the hole to where a huge percentage of the population would believe Christine Ford before evidence was even presented on someone with as clean of a record as Brett Kavanaugh. It is unbelievable. The amount of reviews he got from colleagues, from the National Bar Association, from people who had been in his life forever, just singing his praise and talking about his character was astonishing, guys. I couldn't believe it, and no one could come out and claim, outside of these few women, that he had done anything horrid in the past. The worst someone else other people came out and said was he did date a lot in high school and he drank. That was it. That he was pretty much kind of a playboy type in general. He seems like he might have been, but these claims are outright ludicrous. And my issue with this, and why this is important, and why I'm talking about it, even though it's all over and he's finally on the Supreme Court, is this causes a big issue for the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement is not an issue. I support it wholeheartedly. If you accuse someone of rape and they actually raped you, you know that beyond a facet of a doubt in your mind, beyond a minuscule amount of a doubt, you know. I hope that person goes to jail forever. No question about it. Outright jail forever. But women don't recognize how scary it is to be able to know that women in my past who have issues with me, and women in my past or other guys' pasts who might want to hurt you for things you have never done, have the ability to just on their word. The idea that anyone that I've ever known, that I've been in any kind of relationship with or close with, that could attempt to make claims like this, could truly get people to hear them, talk to them, could put me through that turmoil, could blast me across the world and just hurt my reputation and my relationship so much, with any defense I give for myself being almost null and void. Anything I say, anything I do, specifically to people who support the Me Too movement, it's very, very hard to change their minds because they don't want, if in this situation the male is the rapist, they don't want to hurt the victim. They don't want to take the other person's side and wind up siding with someone who did something horrid. They'd rather take the victim's side almost because it's safer just to assume that they're telling the truth. And this is mental cowardice. This is one of the most frustrating things that we see across social media and in our modern day society. It's mental cowardice to not get all the facts first. It's mental cowardice to claim you're sure or you knew what happened before you actually know. I'm happy admitting that I do not know for sure if Christine Blasey Ford had any altercation with Brett Kavanaugh. I cannot know for positive because I wasn't an FBI investigator. But I do trust the FBI investigators and what they did, and I think that if it could have been found out, it would have been. And people will claim he's a rapist or he's not a rapist before they even have all the facts on the case. They will make decisions on a man's character to such a degree, on such an important topic, that I believe they should be killed over it if they are guilty. They will make a decision on a topic that important before getting all the facts. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Without evidence, you cannot convict someone of a crime, legally, socially, or any other way. Keep your head straight and get your facts straight. It is such an issue, and it is undermining what the left is doing positive for our society. And I know I don't say that a whole lot. I like social leftism. I like the idea of people being able to marry who they want to marry. I like the idea of people being able to do what they want with their bodies. And I believe in the Me Too movement and everything it represents. I believe in feminism that isn't third wave feminism. I think social leftist progressions, liberal progressions, are good for our society. I truly do believe that. But I believe the snake winds up eating its own tail when you do things like accuse people without evidence. You have these views that show that you are trying to fight for the little guy, and then you come at things with such an immature, unbelievably ignorant view that people have a hard time supporting it, even if it is something good like the Me Too movement. And all that I ask people to do is get their facts before they listen to anything of this nature. If it's a case like Bill Cosby, you know what he did. There are plenty of facts, plenty of evidence, plenty of witnesses, and plenty of victims to back it up. You can hate and want Bill Cosby to die. Brett Kavanaugh, there is not evidence for. There are claims, there are some supposed victims, but in the highest possible investigation you can get, an FBI investigation, a United States Federal Bureau of Investigation investigated it for a week. It was a national level story. Everyone was watching. Do you think they did a bad job? Like, are these, it's just, they searched everywhere for information. If it existed, it would have come out, someone would have released it. And to claim that he's a rapist, he's a monster, or anything bad about him after the court has made its decision is not only wrong, it's unbelievably un-American, and I have a problem with it. So, I love the Me Too movement, I don't love the direction it's going, and I don't like the way people use it to attack men and to undermine people who are telling the truth and people who are innocent in the crimes they've been claimed against. So guys, those are my thoughts on it. I know it's a pretty serious one today, and I didn't want to have to get into this, but someone asked me to give my thoughts on it and put it out there for you guys, so there you go. That's my thoughts on it. I support everything the Me Too movement is doing, but please, 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 do it with evidence. Guys, this is Devin Roberts with Young Controversy. Check me out on anchor.fm/podcasting, and I'm going to log off for the evening. Peace.
Yes.
Hi, Drew. I'm going to put you in a video now.
Okay.
Ha! I made him come in for the video.
Hello.
Say hi, Drew.
Hi. How is everybody?